Atlas of the Heart. You can't navigate life if you don't know the emotions driving you. Ever feel overwhelmed by feelings you can't name? Ever react in ways you don't understand? Brené Brown believes language is power and emotional literacy is freedom. Welcome to SR Book Insights. Today, we journey through Atlas of the Heart, a research-rich roadmap of 87 emotions and experiences that shape how we live, love, lead, and connect. This is more than self-help. It's emotional survival gear for a disconnected world. Chapter 1. Name it to navigate it. Brené starts with one of the most profound truths. We cannot understand ourselves or others without language. Imagine trying to drive through a city with no street signs. That's what emotional illiteracy feels like. Constant movement, little direction. The first step toward emotional clarity is vocabulary. We often default to blanket terms like, I'm fine, I'm stressed, or I'm angry. But behind those words could be loneliness, grief, shame, or even disappointment. Different emotions demand different responses. Mislabeling them only leads to miscommunication, internally and with others. When we name an emotion accurately, the brain's amygdala calms. It's science-backed self-regulation, and it empowers us to respond instead of react, choose instead of collapse. Start a feelings log. For 1 week, write down what you're feeling and stretch yourself beyond the obvious. Use a wheel of emotions if needed. Get specific. Train your emotional vocabulary like a muscle. Greater clarity equals greater control. Chapter 2. Emotion does not equal to weakness. One of Brené's most powerful findings is this. Emotional suppression doesn't make us strong. It makes us strangers to ourselves. In high-achieving cultures, we learn early to prize logic over feeling. But the truth? Emotional fluency and courage are inseparable. Vulnerability isn't a flaw, it's a strength. Brené shows that naming the subtle differences between emotions, like guilt versus shame, regret versus remorse, anxiety versus dread, helps us act wisely instead of impulsively. And that fluency builds resilience. For example, envy whispers, I want what you have. Jealousy cries, I'm afraid of losing what's mine. The emotional outcome and your next action couldn't be more different. Without awareness, we risk damaging relationships and eroding self-worth. When we can speak honestly about what we feel, we stop being ruled by what we fear. Reflect on a recent overreaction. What emotion did you think you were feeling, and what might it have actually been? Use Brené's lens to reframe it. Share your discovery with someone close. Vulnerability builds trust, one honest word at a time. Chapter 3. 87 Emotions that Shape Our World. This chapter is the beating heart of the book. Brené doesn't just define emotions, she categorizes them into meaningful, relatable groupings. Places we go when things are uncertain. Places we go when we fall short. Places we go when life is good. Places we go with others. Each cluster is like a terrain on your internal emotional map. For instance, the places we go when we compare might include envy, resentment, or admiration. When you feel one of them, you can pause and ask, am I comparing up or down? Is this inspiring me or deflating me? These insights offer emotional granularity. The more nuanced your language, the more choices you unlock. It's not just about knowing definitions. It's about knowing where you are, emotionally, and what your next best step might be. Choose one emotional terrain from the book, like places we go when things go wrong. List the emotions in that section. Which ones show up most for you? Pick one to explore this week. When it arises, pause and ask, What is this feeling trying to teach me? Chapter 4. Unlearning numbing, perfection, and disconnection. When we don't have the language, we numb the experience. Brené explains that disconnection often masquerades as productivity. We scroll endlessly, overcommit, chase perfection, or withdraw, not because we're lazy, but because we don't have safe spaces or language for our pain. She introduces the concept of chandeliering, when people seem calm until something tiny makes them erupt. That's what happens when emotions go unnamed and unprocessed for too long. Perfectionism, too, is not the pursuit of excellence. It's the shield against shame. But the cost is authenticity. This chapter is a wake-up call. If we want meaningful lives, we have to feel the hard stuff, not bypass it, not bury it, but learn to breathe through it and talk through it. Identify your numbing habits. What do you do when you don't want to feel? Next time you catch yourself reaching for distraction or perfection, pause. Ask yourself, what am I trying not to feel right now? Write it down, name it, sit with it. That's healing. Chapter 5. Building connection through language. Connection doesn't start with agreement. It starts with understanding. Brené explores emotional granularity, the ability to distinguish between similar feelings. This skill is linked to better mental health, deeper relationships, and even physical well-being. When you can say, I'm not angry, I'm hurt, or I'm not scared, I'm anxious about uncertainty, the people around you understand how to show up for you, and you learn how to show up for them. This is a powerful tool for leadership, too. Great leaders don't suppress emotion. They navigate it with clarity. They create cultures where people can name burnout, hope, disappointment, or joy without shame. Brené also redefines empathy, not as fixing or advising, but as feeling with someone. And that only happens when we understand the terrain of their emotions. The next time someone shares something emotional, don't fix, don't compare. Just name what you hear. That sounds like disappointment, or that must feel lonely. Watch how naming an emotion, even gently, can make someone feel seen and safe. Chapter 5. Mapping a Meaningful Life. This book isn't just a glossary, it's a guide to wholeness. Brené makes a bold case. Emotional understanding is not indulgent. It's a prerequisite for joy, purpose, and belonging. The goal isn't to master all 87 emotions. The goal is to live wide awake, to be able to say, I feel disconnected instead of blowing up. Or, I feel awe instead of brushing past a moment of beauty. Every feeling, when named, becomes a teacher. And when we lead from emotional awareness, we show up not just as achievers, but as humans. The kind that make others feel safe, inspired, and empowered. Map your emotional life for 1 week. Each night, list 3 emotions you felt that day and how they impacted your behavior. At the end of the week, review your map. What patterns do you notice? What needs attention and what deserves celebration? The heart is not a mystery to be avoided. It's a map to be explored. So here's your reminder. Don't run from your feelings. Decode them. Define them. Lead with them. Because the bravest thing you can do is feel fully, speak honestly, and love deeply. This was Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. Brought to you by Success Resources Books Insights. You don't need to become more. You need to become present. This is more than mindset. It's a mission. Keep seeking, keep growing, keep giving, and together, let's make the world rich again.